All right, part 3 of week 2. Part 3. This is a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. Okay, so week 2 of December, part 3. There we go. So another thing that I've been focused on is, and really excited about, you guys, because we're finally registered. So I am the affirmation of the affirmation brand. The affirmation brand is official, and I wanted to make sure I did that this December because, for obvious reasons, I'm celebrating myself, I'm celebrating my family, I'm celebrating what I build. This has been a brand that I've contributed to over the last probably year and a half or so. There's been a lot of people who have been watching behind the scenes just to kind of see like what happens with it. And there's also a lot of tug of war, in reference to anything that I develop. It seems like there's a tug of war when it comes to who should be responsible, who should be doing what with what I create. And that is kind of something that I have gotten a little tired of. And I was just like, no, I don't feel like going through this anymore. Let's just go ahead and move forward and do what we need to do with our brand. So I haven't necessarily done everything that I need to do because I'm limited on money, which is part of the reasons why I'm limited on money, is it gives them time when they see that I'm limited on money and I'm not working and I'm blacklisted, all that stuff. They're like, well, she's not going to have the funds to do what it is that, we know that she can do. So, when she does make a move, we got to make sure that we're on top of it. So immediately what ended up happening is once I got the registry taken care of with my business, whoever it is that's watching me, hopefully it's not through the Treasury of State, but that's where we would get our registrations and stuff like that from in this state. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, let's go ahead and move forward. Now we got this. We're sure that this is something that we want to do. We've been building this with our affirmation tickets, everything. We've been building this for, over a year now. We're definitely sure that this is something that we want to continue doing. So let's go ahead and pour into it. So I pour into it, and then all of a sudden now somebody goes and finds the website domain. They've locked it down, pretty much all domains for the affirmation brand. They're probably going to try to do something like what they did with MyTube. They try to, they'll, spy on you, find out the intel, and then next thing you know, now somebody's stolen your shit. And that's kind of how that goes, right? So it's unfortunate, but it is real. Pause. Ooh, I had to take a swig of my little coffee, you guys. But so anyway, whatever it is that I work on, and they've been doing this for a long time. It is a tactic now. I've noticed it. I'm like, as soon as I come up with a name, a slogan, anything, they immediately start locking it down. And it's like the craziest thing ever to learn that throughout this process, this is what people have been doing. They have been watching me, spying on me, and then taking the names of things that I create, whatever the projects are, and trying to literally take them and use them for business ideas. They've been doing this for years. I just found out that it was happening in 2020. I was not aware of any of that happening to me until 2020 happened, and then I started to see things unfold slowly but surely up until this date. So personally, what it looks like is it looks like someone's trying to duplicate my journey, but they can't necessarily do it because they can, but they can't do it the way that I would because it's mine. And that's kind of interesting as a visionary to sit back and watch that. It's like, oh, wow. And it's never going to be exactly what it could be because it's not meant for the person who, so it's kind of like, but it's like when you deal with me, it's like you're using me as a battery in your back, but at the same time, it's like there are like a million ideas that come from the same place. It's really interesting. So I think at this point now, because people are stealing all of my stuff and leaving me with absolutely nothing, and I say this with all, like, I'm taking it in a very light way, even though it has affected my life in a very like heavy way over the years, especially over the past decade. But I think people are now looking for a new purpose for me after they've taken all my shit. So yeah, I think that's kind of funny, to be honest, because it's like, okay, now what do we do with this lady? What we do, And it's kind of like, well, why don't y'all let me worry about that? I'll design that part, okay? And we'll figure out how we can move forward. But there's a lot of mischief that is taking place. And I think that we need to kind of agree to let that part, move on, right? Once we figure out how to let that part, do what it needs to do, it's that energy served its purpose. Now it's time to move forward with the rest of our lives and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what week 2 is really like bringing up within me. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I got this taken care of. I've healed through that. I'm not tripping off that. Yeah, I saw that shit. I ain't worried about that. We're going to keep it moving. We got other things to worry about. Let's push this brand. You see that already they're trying to shut your brand down, baby. So you ain't even got started officially yet. You ain't even got started officially yet. They already trying. So let me focus on building that and continuing to move forward in that way, and focusing on the healing aspect of the journey, as opposed to the aspect of the journey that is being attacked on a daily basis. Let's not focus on that energy. Let's focus on the energy that's needed in order for us to overcome that. So not the energy that keeps you in that, space, but focusing on the overcoming, focusing on the actual becoming, focusing on making it over and through the finish line, not necessarily in life, but in business. So now that we understand that there's some obstacles that have been identified, which has never happened before, you guys, so this is a very big thing for me. Now that we understand the obstacles that have identified themselves,